Hi, my name is Lydia Kirkland. Welcome to my channel, Life After Losing My Child. On this channel, I like to talk about my own personal experiences after losing my daughter. The purpose of this channel is to have a place where those that have suffered the loss of a child can come, find support and inspiration as we all move towards our individual journeys towards healing. If that sounds good to you, then hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell so you can stay tuned to my upcoming videos. So today, I'd like to introduce Zenaida Kirkland, who has her master's in Christian counseling and also is my mother. And we're going to talk about just the holidays and grieving parents and also grieving families and how they feel. I think it's important to explore not only how the parents feel, but also the extended family, since the holidays are a time for parents and families to get together and share memories. So
Thank you for having me.
you're welcome. So we're actually going to talk about, I think, the hardest parts of the holidays, and I guess I'll start. So for me, I think the holidays are just hard in general, because it's a spotlight on the fact that your child is not there. So. Having those rituals, having those times together, I think it's just difficult for me. Like every day, you as a grieving parent that you have lost your child, you're suffering anyway, just on a daily basis because they're not there. You don't need a reminder, but I think the holidays definitely spotlight the fact that your child is gone.
Right.
So I'm not sure how you feel about that, as far as, is there a spotlight for you as well?
I think that most that I miss Brianna is during these times that I know that she would be here greeting me and just hugging me and reminding me how much she loved me. And so the fact that she's been gone so long that I even missed the whole year, not realizing the year and how old she was because of the whole impact of it. I have seen the impact on my children as well, your brothers and sisters, even your nieces, because one of them, and I don't know if I did share that with you, she wrote a little note about how much she missed Brianna, and she's only 9.
Right.
So it has affected us greatly, and it's something I think that we should not forget, Brianna. That's the impact, because a lot of times people feel really bad, especially when it's a child. They don't want to bring up that person, but I think we need to keep the memory alive of her.
Right. I mean, I definitely agree. Yeah, it definitely, when you, as far as the spotlight part, I feel as though because there were different things that used to happen with her incorporated into her holidays, that now she's not there, you definitely miss those times. Another part that's hard for me is the expectations, I feel like, from family and friends, as well as just expectations of myself to continue to move through the holidays and be happy and cheerful and kind of meet the family's needs, as far as you even or my siblings, going to different people's houses for the holidays and not feeling like I want to go. You know what I mean? Not having the energy to go, not being in the mindset to go, wanting to kind of cry that day and not be around other families that are happy and celebrating, because a part of my family is missing. Right.
And I realized that with the passing of Brianna, our first Thanksgiving, that was when I, really missed her, because she was the one that would run up to the door and greet everybody and take their coats and ask them how their day was, and just would engage people in conversation. And I didn't have that person there. There was nobody there opening the door and greeting people, It was rather solemn, even though I didn't show it. And I think that part of us having the holidays, we have to remember that we shouldn't and expect others to act like we do. And I remember you telling me that I'm stoic. I don't always show my feelings, so I didn't show the fact of how much she was missed. And I wanted people not to be sad. But I think our expectation should be that we accept people's right where they're at and not to push them to do things that they don't want to do. And I think that's very important because everybody grieves differently.
Right.
Now, I don't grieve like you grieve, but neither did Manny grieve like you grieve, or even Joel. He doesn't talk much about it, but I know that each one of my children, they miss Brianna. And so it's very important for us not to have expectations of others. Everybody has to grieve the way they grieve, and we need, as someone that cares, to accept how they grieve.
Right. I mean, I definitely agree with that. Just trying to come to terms with where people are in their grief and not making a comparison. Oh, you're not crying, so you don't care. Or, you know, she's crying so much, isn't she over it type thing. You know what I mean? So definitely throughout the holidays, I think that's important for people with their expectations of, I guess, grieving parents to be involved with the traditions, and sometimes it's hard, you know. So I also wanted to kind of talk about traditions and how they change or whatever throughout time. After you lose your child, I think that sometimes the traditions are hard. Grief is an individual thing, so some people like to keep the traditions, and then other people, you know, feel like they want to do away with those traditions. And I think about my own experience with my daughter with Zanai, and kind of with her wanting to put up the tree. And the first year, how I couldn't even put up the tree. That was something that me and Brianna had did together, so it was very difficult. I think for me to find a balance of not wanting to have the tradition, but also allowing Zanai to still be able to have her moment to grieve the way she needed to. So what I did was I invited someone over to help her put up the tree. It was something I couldn't do, but it still needed to be done. You know what I mean? In order for her to grieve the way she needed to.
And I think we need to learn to accept people right where they're at in their grief, because we can't tell people to get over it or get through it. You know, how long is it going to take? It takes as long as it takes. And traditions, you know, some people don't keep their traditions because it might remind them of that person, and so they don't want to do that. Some people might do the tradition later on, or they might change the tradition a little bit.
Right.
But otherwise, you know, maybe depending on how the person feels, they might not want to do it for a while.
Right.
Or they might never come back to it.
Right. And that's funny because I actually didn't put up a tree until I didn't put up a tree till last year. Zanai was still putting it up, but I finally came to a place where I was able to put it up, but it's been 5 years. So, and it's going on 6. So this year, I may put up a tree, I may not. You know what I mean? It all depends. But I think it's fair to give yourself that leeway too, as a grieving parent, to say, hey, I may want to honor some traditions, I may not, and it's okay for me to switch it up and change throughout time. You know what I mean? No one says anything is set in stone.
Right.
Grief is a continual thing where you're always learning and you're always uncovering things, and even when you think that you've reached a certain stage, you may fall back into, you know, bargaining. One of the other stages, anger, different things, depression. So when you feel like you're coming to acceptance, you may be knocked back down. It's the waves of grief that kind of do that and put you in that position.
Because there's different things that can happen.
Right.
It could be a smell
Right.
or something you see
Right.
or you hear, a song that reminds you of that person.
And I think throughout the holidays, those senses are definitely heightened
Heightened.
because of the songs, the smells, family, different ornaments you may see on the tree, all different things that kind of are triggers to bring you back and remind you that you lost your child, which is difficult,
But sometimes it's also a reminder of that person that you love, and depending on the person. To me, I see Brianna's picture and it makes me smile. Not that I don't miss her, but it does. It makes me smile to think about some of the funny things or some of the things I heard jumping in my car and demanding I put on 101.1 so that she could listen to the Christmas
music. Right. So definitely. So I guess I wanted to ask you, what did you miss most about Brianna, and throughout the holidays, what is a trigger for you that I guess reminds you of how much you miss her?
Well, in the springtime, and I know this is the holidays, I always think about her because she used to always take my flowers.
Right.
And I'd say, Brianna, stop picking my flowers. She'd say, okay, but I picked them for you. And she'd bring them in to me. The holidays, like I said, the fact that she's not there to greet people or to greet me or to open the door and just say, hey, you're Jimmy Mom now. You're not Grandmom. The fact of the baking cookies.
Right.
She'd always talk about baking the cookies and what she was going to do and the presents that she was going to give, not necessarily get. She was very giving. So when I think of her getting in my car and changing the channel to 101.1, I think about her, the Christmas music that she enjoyed and how much she did seem to love holidays, but not just holidays, life.
Right.
She was so full of life, and her jokes, her funny. She was tickled about a lot of things. When the YouTube started, oh my goodness, she'd come in and bring me something to show me how funny it was. So I miss all that, and the holidays, especially with her and the sparkling cider.
Yeah.
So my pictures, I guess, would be what reminds me of her. And it's not a trigger in a sense. I think the trigger would have been this just past, which was this year, her not graduating from high school, missing her prom, getting ready for college. This year really did affect me. And I said, wow, I'm going to miss all that with her.
Right.
So, and it does bother me.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But all in all, I know where she is. So I have to say that as one that she believed in the Lord, and I believe in the Lord. So I believe I'll see her, and when I leave here, and
Right. I mean, I definitely just think about, I'm just going back a little bit for the things that I miss most about her and that kind of trigger me is the Christmas tree, because that was something that we did together every year. And it affected me so much that the first year I was actually looking for her around the Christmas tree. I knew she wasn't there, but it's something in my mind that still was like, where is she? Why isn't she helping me out? And my boyfriend at the time, Dante, I was talking to him and I'm like, Brianna's not here. And I'm like, is she really dead? Is she really gone? And he said yes. And I just totally lost it, broke down, And people don't know that story. You know what I mean? They don't know how hard that the holidays can be and how much it plays on your mind. You know what I mean? Sorry. How much it plays on your mind just to get through the holidays. holidays and how hard it can be. So, On that note, I think we're gonna just wrap it up right now and come back and talk about the tips for those that are grieving through the holidays. I definitely, from my own experience, know how hard it can be, and I'll have some tips for you when we come back. Thank you. Hi, so welcome back. So right now in this segment, I actually want to talk about the tips for the holidays that I have not only for grieving parents, but also for the families. So the number one tip would be to have a plan. For grieving parents, I think that it's a good idea to kind of have a plan of what you're going to do for the holidays, who you're going to visit, how long you're going to stay, those kinds of things, just so that you can give yourself like a little time frame to maybe get with people, but also to have some time to yourself. So I think a plan is a smart thing to do.
I do too. I think that we need to be able to decide how we're going to spend our holidays and not be pressured into it.
Right. So number two would be to express your emotions. During the holidays, I know for myself, it's easy for me to want to isolate and not talk to people. I think that especially during the holidays, you need time to be able to express your emotions to somebody that you trust, but also to, if you can't find somebody you trust, to be able to maybe write it down in a journal or take some time to, just get out those feelings and not bottle them up inside.
And if you feel it's necessary, you should find either a group that you can attend, a grief group, or you can maybe find a counselor.
Right. Yeah, and also there is the National Suicide 1-800 number as well, that I'll actually put a link to it in the description underneath this video. Also, another tip would be to socialize, which is tip number 3. It's important for us, like I said, to get out and kind of socialize with others. It's easy for us to isolate, to not feel understood by those that are with their children on a holiday. So to get out, even if it's for maybe a half hour, an hour, get out and kind of get with those that love you and will support you during this time.
Right. It's important that you don't isolate, but don't feel pressured. That's the only thing I suggest. Don't feel pressured that you have to do this. If it's only for a half hour, just to get around other people for a little bit.
Right. Tip number 4 is to reassess holiday traditions, which we kind of talked about, where the traditions may change. You might decide that, like I said before, I wanted to put up a tree, or excuse me, I didn't want to put up a tree, my daughter did, but then I compromised somewhere in the middle and allowed her to put up the tree with a friend that came over and helped support her as I was away from that situation. It's okay to have different traditions and to change them throughout time.
Right. Sometimes you don't do the tradition.
Right.
Sometimes you might not be up to that tradition. Mm-hmm. And so give yourself a break if you just can't, and don't. Or do as Lydia did. She decided that it wasn't fair to deny not to do it, but to help her along with it and bring someone else to come along tonight.
Right. And I think that's important too. I'm just going to piggyback off that for a second. Also with, if you have a spouse in the house, maybe they want to put up the tree and maybe you don't. They want to put up stockings. They want to do certain things you don't. It's important to, just in a relationship, to not take it personal when it comes to the traditions of, some people feel like it's honoring their child to do certain things, and others feel like because I love my child so much, I can't get past that to continue with those traditions, and both of those are okay. Number 5 is a tip would be for holiday shopping. It's a lot for parents to be out with the hustle and bustle. I think a tip for shopping would be to do online, or gift cards are fine. To not be around the holiday music and all the people and all that could be a bit overwhelming, so I think it's okay.
It is, and it's good that if you decide to do it, that's the one thing I think people need to remember. They don't should not be pressured into anything. If you don't want to go shopping online or else otherwise, then
Right.
don't do it. But if you feel you want to, or you know, in a sense you might quote have to because you have children or you have someone special that you want to give a gift to, do that. But don't feel the pressure of the constant hustle and bustle of the holiday.
Right. Another one would be reminisce. I think number 6, I'm sorry, is the tip for reminiscing. I think it's okay to have those times to think about your child and think about, you know, the good times as well. We spend a lot of time as grieving parents grieving and missing so much of all the special moments, all the times, but I think it's important too to remember those memories and to remember the good times. As hard as it could be, there is some sweetness with the bittersweet, and it's important to remember that.
And we could bust out, and I said bust it out, bust out the picture albums. I'm telling you, looking at pictures is, and remembering things that happened. I have one right now on my refrigerator with Brianna with the wig at my retirement party. That she looks so funny, little orphan Fanny.
That's funny.
But
yeah, I mean, and also I think too with the reminiscing, sometimes family doesn't know what to say. They don't know whether to bring it up, if that'll hurt you, or whether to not say anything would hurt you. You know, it's okay for the family to take the cue from the grieving parent. If they start talking about their child, then it's kind of the go ahead to share some memories too. If you notice that they're shying away from that topic, then maybe you should back up as well. So, number 7 is to take time out. So take time for yourself. Do a little regrouping throughout the holidays. Set some time away to maybe either get a massage, go for a walk, do whatever allows you to relax during that time. It's already a stressful, you know, time for us, even more so. You know, so taking time to yourself is okay.
self-care is very important. Self-care is one of the most important because, you know, it is stressful and people sometimes have anxiety or depression. So, you know, depending on where they're at, they really do need to take time for themselves.
Mm-hmm. I know I do. All right, number 8 is to ask for help. So, as much as I hate to ask for help, just because of my personality, it really is important to reach out to those that care about you, to be able to say, hey, I'm not okay. Throughout the holidays, I kind of prepare yourself. Throughout the holidays, I may be going through this. Is it okay for me to call you if I need to? Is it okay for me to reach out during the holidays? Also, maybe asking for help for other people to go shopping for you, or for other people to maybe cook during the holidays. Hey, this year, can I come over to your house? I'm really having a hard time, but I still want it to be special for, maybe you have other children, to be special for them. Can I come to your house? I just can't. I don't have the energy to cook this year. You know, asking for help is important.
Right. Seeking even professional help is good. A lot of times you don't want to hear it, but sometimes we need somebody else that is not in our sphere of people that we do depend on. It's just someone we can go and unload to.
Yeah, that's true. Number 9 is to be flexible, to allow yourself to say, you know what, even though number 1 is to have a plan, it comes to number 9 where it says be flexible. It's okay to have a plan, but if it doesn't go to plan, it's okay. You know, and also for the family to be flexible, to say, you know what, it might be hard for them. I really want them here this year, but at the same time, I got to be flexible because emotionally they may not be able to handle it.
And sometimes we can be flexible and get out of our comfort zone and go over there. And like you said, maybe somebody can bring a plate to that person or just go over and
Yeah.
comfort them in those, an hour or so. It doesn't matter, but sometimes we just sit with that person
Right.
and feel what they're feeling.
So you're coming over?
I mean, in my pajamas.
All right. So number 10 is to give yourself permission to have those nice moments throughout the holidays. You know, it's so much for us to grieve and to, I guess, be in that depressed state or that grieving state. But it's okay to laugh. It's okay to have fun. It doesn't mean that you don't miss your child. And I think that you have to give yourself permission to be okay with the holidays and start to live again.
Right. And we do need to live because we still have other people around us, especially if we have children. And we have to remember that our life really has not gone. We still have others around us that we love and love us and need us.
Okay. So my final thought for this is to remember that grief is definitely a necessary process, and it's an expression of love. To be patient as you grieve, and also to allow yourself to be surrounded around loving and caring people.
And that's true. And the only thing I have to say at this point is that also remember that we should not do other things to try to alleviate the grief,
Right.
self-destructive things. So we need to be positive, and I think that's why Lydia has decided to do these, because she wants to put a positive on the negative. It is grief, but we also can grieve and know that there is hope.
Yes. And also, I'm going to just jump on that one more time, is to say, definitely throughout the holidays, drinking can be a part of it. Getting a little eggnog, a little here, there. But when you're already feeling depressed, alcohol is a depressant. Using drugs, doing different things can definitely put you even in more of a downward spiral that you already feel. So, but thanks for joining us today. I like to say happy holidays to everybody. Just have a great season. Grieving parents, give yourself time. It's okay. And for those supporting, please just work with them. Be patient. Show love and show care. Anything you want to add?
Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and God bless us everyone.
All right, little Tim. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up, and thanks for joining us once again. You can find me on Instagram as well, Life After Losing My Child. Check it out. Also, I have blogs coming up that are in the works that I'm hoping to put out to you guys in the future. It will be also entitled Life After Losing My Child. So stay tuned. Don't forget, subscribe and hit the bell. Thanks. Bye.